Hello, everybody, again, and welcome to another episode of Stock Talk. I am your host, Mike. Well, Cameo, he's on an East Coast swing. He should be here soon, maybe later, maybe not at all. It just depends on his schedule. He's mentioning something about Cerveza and things like that. I've got a good show for you to plan. Of course, some of the news I have is not good news, but we have to cover that before we cover the stocks. Just because you never know what's going to go down in the middle of the show. Just things keep on breaking here as we film the show. So one of the pop-ups I want to talk about to you before investing first, if you get on to your screen there, like and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. Get your comments in because we're going to have another gift card. Who we're going to give it out to, I don't know. And what kind of prizes we're going to give out, I don't know. Sometimes we give out free prizes here. It just depends what we get our hands on. So post your stock to picks in the Facebook group. Join that. Join the chat, get everything going, and see if you can help some people out there, make some dollar-rooskies, and help make the cabbage rain. So going into this, one of the first things we're going to talk about is we've got some breaking coverage on China's economic collapse has arrived. Yes, that's according to the Gateway Pundit and Jim Hoft. This will impact the entire world. Now, the Hoft brothers have covered this far back in 2018. Some would rather call them conspiracy theorists on the web. As in 2008, the perfect storm is coming, and it is going to be 5 times larger than the 2008 storm. So according to Jim Hoft, the excessive and extravagant construction projects, cash flow challenges, and lack of demand in China, all for combination in a major financial disaster. Now, if some of you are familiar with the term ghost cities, those were built in China. And so with those, we have the trickle-down effect just because we have so many things that are tied to this economy and that economy that it will trickle down to the United States. So this is why we're saying get your house in order. We're giving the warning out just for as far to get prepared, prepare for inflation, stagflation, things like that. As Hoft, the Hoft brothers warned that the China real estate was in a similar situation in 2008. As China grew, it invested its infrastructure. In addition to invested infrastructure projects throughout the country, these efforts helped bolster China's already fast-growing economy. So with this, throughout the years, as we discussed on here, the ghost properties. Well, China invested the ghost properties, but the properties remained vacant. There are pictures in China in the Hubei province where it's very massive, but it's all empty. It's considered a ghost city. So in this situation, you had massive complexes, but you had nobody filling those areas. It just became too expensive and too affordable to live. So many properties throughout China sat unoccupied. There is also a cost to this, and the cost is affecting them, and it's trickling down you there. There was a report today that one of the residents that lost money in this, she went up to one of the people that, as far as with the company that owed her money, and she took a knife to the throat, and she's like, "This is all I got. I need that money," but obviously they didn't give her money. So many of the properties, according to Hoft, in China sat occupied, which he has firsthand experience because he lived there for many years. Bloomberg reported this again in 2018, so you can go back and fact check that out to verify the story, being that everything is conspiracy theory lately. So in the statistics of this crisis, cash short-term debt levels were 80 publicly traded real estate companies tracked by Bloomberg were 133% of average the first half of the worst since the last 6 months in 2015 and 297% a year earlier. Almost a quarter of the developers' support ratio of 50%. In addition, Bloomberg noted that while most businesses have been booming, developers are piling on the debt. So they are just racking it up and racking it up. Firms have been selling more bonds in the domestic market and the cheapest rates for investors. Okay, so with firms selling more bonds in the domestic market, what happens is the cheap rates were shrugged off by the investors, and the dollar denomination obligations with the higher borrowing costs from the Federal Reserve cost this going into a higher crisis. So at least at the Pundit, they've been putting out several warnings to people to let them know to be prepared for this. With the debt related over the development, it is super massive, and the amount is unknown by the S&P estimating, not reported by local communities. It's estimated of the debt to the banks and the local communities there are over $6 trillion. Will that have effect to us? Yes. Should you get your house in order? Yes. Should you prepare your stocks and what you're picking to make your choices very carefully on this show? We're going to try to cover as best we can. We're still going to cover stocks that are being talked about. We're still going to go about our business. Just guys, be very careful in what you do, because make sure you are prepared for this. I'm not saying go out to the grocery store and rack up and make yourself a teepee fort and huddle up in your bed and hide away and just be like, oh, I'm never coming out because the world is coming to an end. Just prepare. That's all we're saying. Just get your major essentials. Prepare for the storm that's coming ahead, and we'll just leave it at that. So we're gonna move on to the stock picks. I know some of you were like, oh, hey, what about we saw this cool refrigerator. We saw this refrigerator. If I'm gonna the refrigerator video, if I have a tip that I could share to people to save them $200 in these treacherous times to help them, I'm gonna post that video. Just because it's helped other people out with other things we've had. I'm kind of handy with that as well. So that's basically why that was like that. And it also gets you guys bread and butter for giving away more gift card giveaways, because everything we make on the show, we try to dedicate to you to make the show better and to give you guys some swag and some prizes just for saying, hey, we love you and thanks for being on the show with us. So going with it, we're going to go into the first stock pick. And if you have any picks throughout the weeks, get right to it and send it to me. Also, guys, I wanted to show you this as well before we go on to the stocks. Another deal to watch for, because of the chips over in Taiwan. You need to prepare as well, because if that invasion happens and there's some kind of more disruption in the supply chains, things for computers, everything you can think of is going to go up. I saw this pop up on my Twitter feed from Jack Posobiec. What is that, would you say? That is U.S. Marine Corps F-35s are about to be the first fighters to fly from what? A Japanese carrier since World War II. So Japan is flexing its muscles, and because they were threatened this month, and so they're out there, and they're not gonna be threatened by any of this stuff and everything. So they're flexing their muscles. There's a lot of saber rattling. So let's hope it's just a bunch of baloney and it's gonna blow over and nothing's gonna happen. But just like I said, be prepared. That's what's one of the things with the show. We want you to be prepared, and we don't want you to be out like a sitting duck. So that's the end of that, and we're going to get to it for sure this time. Okay, guys, the first stock we have is PUGET Technologies. Currently, last tick was 0.0080. 6-month history on this. It looks like we crested at about a little bit about, like in May of 2021, we had this sucker a little bit about the range where we had it before, around the 80-cent mark there. And then it looks like we're trending, we were trending in September in the 70s, and we shot up to 0.0080. Okay, guys, so going on to what would you say they actually do here. With these guys, they're in a development stage company which engages in development and selling of consumer-oriented products for rapid commercialization. The company's first acquisition, online travel company firm, is leveraged to attract and merger an acquisition candidate in the online travel industry. So getting back with this, I know some people, the sentiment out there, should I travel, should whatever. You got to do what you got to do, and if you have the options open to you, help support this economy, and let's get our travel people some biz so they can get working. If you can't, it's understandable. It is what it is, but we try to get people supporting the economy as best we can. With it, its multi-level discipline approach is designed to reduce the risk of exposure and generate multiple revenue streams. As far as private companies in various industry accelerate funding timelines. So the company was founded in March 17th, 2010 and headquartered in Boca Raton, Florida. Okay, guys, so with this company, you could see that we've got the pump up the jam, pump it up a little more. So it is being promoted. So with that, we want to be careful, because if we're not careful, what's going to happen is we're going to get our dough taken. Now, for some of you that are experienced to listen to the show, you don't need to listen to that. But for some of us that are new to this, there are some stocks that are promoted when we see them. We're going to tell you about them. So this one showed up on the Pump Up the Jam list. What we're going to do here is we're going to go into a little bit like what did they do as far as more into. So we went to the website. We're checking this out there. It says, current leadership has significant experience in investment banking, accounting, regulatory compliance, and seeking additional team members with the experience in mutual funds. The insurance industry, innovative technologies, alternative energy, the medical industry, and intellectual property. As well-operated veterans who can seek deep expertise in the medical industry and intellectual property. They can bring their expertise for game-changing respective industries. Puget's regional investment focus ranges from traditional industries, such as healthcare, that has a ripe focus model for innovative new markets that strive to solve big societal problems such as climate change. Publicly traded on the pink open market, Puget is committed to delivering competitive return to investors. Well, let's see. So far, they're not doing bad as far as competitive return, seeing where they're at and things like that. We just gotta have to watch this how it plays out. Am I saying I'm jumping on it? Absolutely not. Would I say I look at it and put it on my watch list? Yes, for sure. So for any of the trolls out there that are saying, oh yeah, he's talking about this, I don't promote anything. I just try to cover as much information to get it out to people. That's the purpose of the show. So a plug I saw from Microcap Daily, and you can go and follow along with this one. Puget has a lot of investors behind it. Easy to see why the company has been running big moves lately. We have a new CEO on board. Yes, they have a new CEO on board, and he's seasoned with healthcare management. The new CEO is Karen Fordham, an executiving on every level. That's not me, that's them. The stock is already pink current. So the company has announced some of the major acquisitions in the works. Some of that is Behavioral Centers of Florida, LLC, is also acquired D&D Rehab Health Center. And so guys, if they're into this kind of stuff as far as providing support for these types of companies, healthcare is almost as far as a no-brainer. I've been telling you guys this all on the program all the time. If you can get into any healthcare investments or any type of, as far as crypto, things like that, DOD, we want to start to move right now to as far as economic, almost economic proof deals here to stay safe. A lot of those pharmaceuticals, like I talked to you, crypto, things like that, gold, natural resources, things like that. That is the way to go. So with this, they're also in negotiations to acquire Florida Behavioral Health Center, Glades Medical or Gladys Medical Centers of Florida, LLC. GMC of Florida, no, not GMC the car, but a Florida limited liability company. Okay, guys, so going on to what would you say they actually do here. With these guys, they're in a development stage company which engages in development and selling of consumer-oriented products for rapid commercialization. The company's first acquisition, online travel company firm, is leveraged to attract and merger an acquisition candidate in the online travel industry. So getting back with this, I know some people, the sentiment out there, should I travel, should whatever. You got to do what you got to do, and if you have the options open to you, help support this economy, and let's get our travel people some biz so they can get working. If you can't, it's understandable. It is what it is, but we try to get people supporting the economy as best we can. With it, its multi-level discipline approach is designed to reduce the risk of exposure and generate multiple revenue streams. As far as private companies in various industry accelerate funding timelines. So the company was founded in March 17th, 2010 and headquartered in Boca Raton, Florida. Okay, guys, going on to Stockwits, because that's where the real traders are at. There are some trolls on there that think they know it all, but it is what it is. So we love people to troll back on the show, and I love it when everybody else holds them to their word when they say have a hot take and try to get people going. So going on with this, MO92614 says, 6% loss, no big deal. We're sitting well from where we bought. Have some minor pullbacks, yes there is, but it's still staying steady according to my opinion there. I'm still here and I'm not leaving for a while. I wouldn't say to leave that for a while. Looks pretty decent, McGee's there. PUGE, anyone got the DD packet link? Yeah, there's the DD packet link there. It's posted in the chat there for you, Dayman. They have it listed there on Stockwits there. We'll go to updates October 7th. The people will buy back for sure. And yeah, once the short sale stuff stops there, as far as the shorters get out on Friday, this will be back again as far as for the taking. You can probably get this on the cheap just because we're in promotion land right there. And then you have your paid promoters out there that are writing things like that, trying to pump up the gem. You also have Monkey Habit says multi-pennies and more for the tree puggers. You gotta love these guys. They're good on that. The next comment we have here is no worries here. You don't have a heady hitter like Fordham. PUGE has a plan with Fordham. Yes, they do. Looks like Fordham is definitely got the shit together. PUGE, I'm not leaving, and that's with an F. We also have funds will clear tomorrow. If this stays around the level, I'm going all in. That's from Just Saying. Brass Balls is commenting on there. 10 million now and just added 4 million. PUGE, here it comes. I'm not here for the short-term gains. I'm just here for the big money. That's from Beard Pour. So you got all your comments in there. I'm seeing a lot of bulls. I'm not seeing too many bears. Just watch yourself on this one. Find your buy point if you're going in. Or wait it out. Do what you want to do. Like I said, this isn't a promotion show where to tell you what your buy point is or find it out. I watch too many things. I've seen too many things where people always want to know what's the buy point, especially on fantasy sports. I can't believe. So if you guys are into any type of sports or anything, and you're into fantasy, I find it hilarious that when someone goes to the host, especially one of the shows I watch is, I'll give it a plug here because I love the guy, Sal Vitri for Daily Fantasy. You'll see a lot of people go to him and say, well, what's your pick for the captain spot or this and that? If he knows his pick for the captain spot, why the hell would he give it away as far as for that? So with it, do your own research, find out what you're going to do. It's dishonest to say, when you're not sure what people's situations are and everything like that. You got to do your investigation and find your buy point and your find point. So I'm out on this one. I'm going to the next one, but that's just your lesson there. We're not here to give out advice when you should buy. That's up to you and when you feel comfortable with that. We can give you the information and things like that. If you want to go to another show where they tell you to rack it up, and they're just trying to get subs and things like that. That's really not what we do here. Okay, guys, excited to talk about this one. The next one, this is on the promotion list, so mark this down. It's on the pump up and jam, so you got to be careful with it. But we're going to talk about it because it's interesting. Some of these that I talked about on Market Club, they are actually they're still popping on there. So that's the thing, is you got to follow these, and you got to follow the year history and to see if you can find a pattern here, because some of these are patterns and they'll pop up again. It's just when you're going to pick them up, what's your buy point. My personal buy point is on the cheap. Last week, we talked about this stock about 4 or 5 times before. We're not talking about the same one, but I'm just saying Cyberlux is an example. They got that DOD contract, and watch that one before we talk into this one, because we're going to get familiar. I'm not too familiar with this company yet that we're going to talk about, but what I am saying is to watch out for Cyberlux there, to find your buy point on that one, because I personally see more DOD money going into it. It's just where we're going to get in. So that one I'm actually watching to see what my buy point is to get in on that, because that one I see a lot of potential with that within the next 2 to 3 years there. So as far as that one is decent to look at. But we got another one here that might show up on the radar the next 6 to 8 months. That one is Drone Guard Incorporated. It looks like the symbol on that one, the ticker is DRNG. DRNG. Last tick was 0.00666. So way freaking cheap there. Going on to the year-to-date pattern. So all through 2021 early, you were looking at this thing was like below trash heap there. And then all of a sudden you had in the summertime, we shot up in at least to the cent mark, and then we dropped out, and then we pooped out. Going into this one, what would you say they do here? Okay, guys, with this one, Drone Guard Incorporated is an early stage security and surveillance company which engages in commercialization of drone home security systems. As the turnkey solutions, the products include eye in the sky, home and environment, as well as residential homes, commercial, industrial, and properties, and campus farms and lands. The company was founded in May 14, 2012, and is headquartered in San Francisco, California. What's the significance of where that's at? Well, that's where your main hub of the DNC, as well as your tech companies. And maybe there's a possibility that there's some interesting stuff going on as far as, what's going on. Maybe some government Dolaruski contracts, maybe? We're going to go into that. That's just speculation as me recording that, but we're going to dive in and see what we got cooking. Okay, guys, so this is going back with July news. It looks like behind the report of Video River Networks is acquiring DroneGuard. Remaining unclear to particular details of the deal. However, it appears the working capital loan to DroneGuard will be a reinstatement, and listing fees will include in the deal, including DRNG stock, as to many investors haven't heard of. The company currently holds a market capitalization of less than $2.5 million after the rise. According to investors, it could intrigue anyone what it does by taking off. The electric vehicle and battery technology holding company acquired controlling interest in DRNG. NAHK will run DRNG as an independent company, and Adam Taylor remains the president CEO, and Frank Igwaller remains the president CEO, and Frank Igwaller becomes chairman, CEO, co-CEO, NIHK, in the process of reinstating DRNG and bringing it current. With that, it shall provide initial working capital to DroneGuard to finish the market of its drones and artificial intelligence products into the Video River Networks, and also hired Northrop Grumman. That's huge. That's as far as that has a lot of ties to who there. If you don't chat me, and I'll tell you who who is, but I think you guys got the picture there. Additionally, Video Rivers have also hired the Northrop Grumman aerospace veteran to enhance drone and AI vision, and will join DRNG board director. As far as Northrop Grumman is being on the NYSE traded company, that's the world's best in the industry. The Video Networks team is excited of the hire because of the new experience and knowledge. So guys, going on to StockWits, that's where the real traders are hanging out there. We have Javen says she's avoided a bloody nose, tested the full clip, and taking profit. Love the way the balance and support was looking. I think the balance and support looks good. I think there's a lot of heavy hitters coming aboard here, guys. I would say you need to find your entry point as far as where you're getting in, what you're most comfortable with. That's some good water with the purified fix there. As far as this goes, you have too many hitters in from I would say from swampy land, and I'm thinking this is going to be one of those companies like some of your other companies back in the 08 days. It depends which part of the regime in which I'm not on any side of the fence, but I go where the wind blows as far as investing in regimes and things like that. So it's important to study politics. Some of you say, well, I'm not going to study politics because it's not my thing. I hate both parties. Well, I would agree too. But you still should study some of it so you know which direction you're investing in, because with doing clean energy and drone technology, anything type of green, that's just the direction where the regime's going. So I'm not going to go too much into StockWits, because basically what the real traders are saying is that I don't see too many bears. I see bullish on this, and you would too, because remember, what do we always say location when we look at some of these location? This one's in San Francisco, and like I said, you have a lot of connections and things, and the big G word with Grumman, Northrop brings up, I'm thinking you're going to see some heavy hitters coming in, and I would say whatever type of bill they get passed, I would say this one and Cyberlux and some of the other ones are probably going to be involved in that. So I would say it's worth to take a look, find your buy point. I'm going to be looking at some other people in the future here. So as far as get your tips in and stocks, throw them in there, and maybe I can get you some kickback here sometimes for helping out with the program to see what you want to talk about, because it's not always what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what you guys are going to want to talk about. So, but I've got some stuff I got to do. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Hopefully Kameo's there and he's not on the East Coast swing, stuck in traffic, looking at Pookie on the road. But Don't make it a dog show. Stay out of the clown motel, and don't drink and drive. And good